Hi, everybody, and welcome to the One Fan Power Trip podcast. My name is Brian Slone, and I am the host and creator of this podcast. I've been a lifelong wrestling fan since 1991, and I've been at some of the biggest WWE moments in history, such as I was there when Mick Foley got thrown off Hell in a Cell at King of the Ring 98. I've been to 4 WrestleManias. I saw The Undertaker streak end in person. And I've had a lot of really cool experiences that I want to talk about. I want to talk about current events and different things, have watchbacks, and just have fun expressing my love for pro wrestling in this format. And if people want to listen and come along for the ride and journey, then I want to welcome everybody to the show, to the experience. I don't have anything really planned. This is just an introduction for today. I plan on having regular episodes starting later. I just want to kind of get this one out there and play around with the stuff and kind of get some things sorted out. So I plan on doing, pay-per-view previews, reviews, maybe some news and notes and different things of interest. I plan later to have like watchbacks and reviews of old shows, old episodes of stuff, old wrestling shows from my perspective, as, like I wasn't a fan in 1985, but let me watch this episode of Saturday Night's Main Event and get my take on it. Or, it's been 20 years since I've watched Super Brawl 99 or whatever, and I can just go back and watch it and give my thoughts about it and have a discussion. Maybe sometime down the line I can have guests and interviews and really build this into something of interest that people would be willing to listen to. But right now I'm just doing it for my own personal enjoyment, just to have something out there on my website, just to have some fun, just to play around with some different tools, just to get some experiences, you know, build up some different skills, play around with it in a format that is new to me, in an area that I am interested in. Um, you know, I'm a big wrestling fan. And as a big wrestling fan, I need to get my opinion out there. Everybody does. And I want to be one of those people. So instead of voicing it on a message board or hiding behind a chat room or a Twitter comment or whatever, I'm going to do this podcast and see where it goes and see how much fun I have doing it and see what it's like and see what the feedback is, if there is any feedback, if anybody listens to the thing. Um, yeah, and just see how it goes. For example, some current events. AEW had Revolution on Sunday, and everybody knows the end of that main event was bad. It was a dud. It failed miserably. It did not reach expectations. It did not follow through with the promises. It was bad. And what sucks about that is that I really enjoyed the show. I thought the matches were really good. I enjoyed the main event for what it was. I mean, the match itself was pretty entertaining as a Moxley Omega match with the barbed wire and the little pop explosives and stuff. I mean, it wasn't the biggest of explosions in match for the thing, but they were effective enough. I mean, I'm not really a death match type of fan, so I'm not really going to get too caught up in the, oh no, these explosions were little pops, as opposed to, you know, gigantic explosions that rip off layers of skin, or that do, leave scars or something, or some crazy CZW thing, or some crazy Japanese, FMW hardcore death match. Those matches don't interest me. Um, when I watch those matches and I see guys breaking light tubes over their head and that type of thing, like, I mean, for like a spot in a match, sure, that's great. I would, you know, if a guy wants to fly through a glass coffee table, hey, that's pretty cool. That's pretty fun. In the context of a match, that would be pretty interesting for me to see. But when the whole match is that, I don't really need to see that. I don't care that much about that much destruction. I do like, matches that are wrestled well, competitive, fun to watch. Like, I'm a fan of WWE, I'm a fan of AEW, I'm a fan of New Japan. Um, and they each have their own strengths. I know if I want to watch a wrestling match, I'm turning on New Japan or NXT. If I want to have some fun, turn on AEW and see what they're doing. I love Darby Allin. I love the roster. I love, Ray Phoenix and Penta and Cody and all those guys. And I enjoy their show. WWE main roster, hit and miss, more miss than hit. I don't really have a strong desire to sit there and watch full episodes of Raw or full episodes of SmackDown. I can get the highlighted playlist on YouTube later that day, the next day, whatever, catch all the information I need. You know, for example, at Elimination Chamber, Miz wins the championship by cashing in Money in the Bank, beating McIntyre, getting the title. I really dislike the fact that 2 weeks later, Lashley beats him in a squash. I mean, like, I get it. It's The Miz, and he shouldn't be the WWE champion for a long time. But, like, you know, I, I understand you need to get the belt off McIntyre to do Lashley's title, to get McIntyre back to the championship at WrestleMania and stuff. But, like, ah, it just pains me because I really like The Miz, and The Miz does some really good stuff. And, his character, for the most part, for WWE, is pretty great. You know, if a Miz match comes on, I know it's going to be well WWE, wrestled. Not well wrestled in a New Japan style, but like well wrestled in a what WWE gives you as entertainment now. you know, that's the type of match I'm expecting from WWE, from The Miz. And he does it pretty well. And I like his matches. I like his character. I like what he does. But, at a certain point, if you're going to give him the belt, let him have it for a pay per view. you know, you have Fastlane coming up, in 10 days. Like, let him be the champion coming into Fastlane. Lashley beats him at Fastlane. You don't even need to have this pay per view Fastlane before WrestleMania. Like, you're wedging this pay per view in. You're wedging in 2 or 3 WWE title reigns to get McIntyre back to the championship victory he should have had last year in front of a crowd to have it this year in front of the crowd. I mean, it's just, you didn't need to sacrifice The Miz in that fashion that quickly. You know, let him lose it at Fastlane. Give him a month. Let him do some things. Let him taunt Lashley for 4 weeks instead of 1 week or a week and a half. You know, let him be the champion. I mean, who better than The Miz exemplifies what WWE gives you? The Miz is their own homegrown talent. He worked up the whole ranks from a non wrestler to WWE champion 2 times. He's a 2-time WWE champion. Like, you can't give him more time with the belt. I mean, I know he's not going to be a great champion. I know he's not going to go down in the history books as one of the best WWE champions at all time. Nobody's arguing that point. My point is like, why have him win it for a week? Like, that doesn't do anything for anybody. That just, like, I mean, it just doesn't make any sense. It's it's almost as bad as the end of AEW Revolution. Like, all right, the bombs don't go off. And what do? They act like it did went off. Why? Why are you acting like those explosions happened? You didn't need to act like those explosions happened. You know, what should have happened, what could have happened, I don't see any reason realistically why it shouldn't have happened, is all right, the bomb didn't go off. You know, Eddie Kingston can look up, confused, get mad. John Moxley can get up and be mad that they were bracing for this explosion that never happened. Kenny Omega and Don Callis and those guys could come out and laugh and laugh and laugh and laugh and really drive home the point that they really screwed over Moxley and stuff, and they didn't do it. They just ate it. They just followed through with the thing as though the explosions happened. And I mean, you can get on the post game show, you can get on media the next day or Twitter and whatnot later that night or whenever, and even yesterday on Dynamite, and get out there and be like, oh no, this is what was supposed to happen. It was never supposed to be a big explosion, and Kenny Omega can't build a structure, and we weren't going to blow anything up. I mean, like, that's so stupid. Like, that's just bad. And then the fact that AEW is sitting around like telling people, forcing people to take it off their social medias and stuff. Like, I mean, come on. Like, what are you doing? Just live up to it. Like, yep, they didn't explode. What can I do? Can't do anything about it now. It didn't explode. We'll talk about it on Wednesday. All right, sounds good. You know, now what's going on Dynamite? MJF has a new stable. Kenny Omega and Christian are facing off. Looks like they're starting a storyline and stuff. Like, yeah, let's just act like Revolution never happened and just move on into the next storyline. Like, I'm pretty content with Scorpio Sky turning heel and beating up Darby Allin after his title match. I'm pretty content with Moxley and Kingston going after the Good Brothers. Christian going after Kenny Omega. You know, I don't need to dwell on the fact that the bombs didn't explode. Totally fine. Okay, great. The bombs didn't explode. All right. Move on. Acknowledge it. Acknowledge, hey, look, we planned this thing. It worked in practice. It didn't work in execution. Over. Done. Move on. Are people going to make fun of it going down the road? Of course they are. But, what are you going to do? You can't micromanage every little reaction to every little thing you do. Like, I'm going to post this podcast. Are people going to like it? No, of course not. It's going to be a terrible thing. But I'm going to put it out there. And as I continue to put more stuff out there, maybe I'll get into a rhythm. Maybe I'll get into a format that works. Who knows? But if you don't do anything, you can never move forward. So stop dwelling on the fact that the bombs didn't explode at Revolution. Just be a little transparent and just say, hey, look, it didn't work. And move on. Try something that does work. There's a lot of things that go well, do well, work. Don't need to dwell on things that don't work. Just move on. Next time, I'll probably be previewing WWE Fastlane. Um, and we'll move forward with there. I'll give you my reaction to the pay-per-view after the show happens, and yeah, I'll just get this ball rolling and work out some things that work, don't work. Eventually have features and stuff as part of the episode, and we'll see where this goes. And if it doesn't go anywhere, then hey, at least I tried. But anyways, so that's the beginning of the One Fan Power Trip podcast.